It's David Garrett at the Sky. Do you want to kick us off, please? David, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me okay? David, can you hear me?
Hi, David, yes.
Hello. I think Stuart did the media duties on Wednesday night, so I thought I'd start by asking you about another great night at the London Stadium and a dramatic finish with a penalty shootout. Just thought I'd start by getting your thoughts on that again.
It was a really, really tough game. Manchester City played ever so well, and we done enough to get through and get a draw, and then we took 5 really good penalty kicks. So the way football goes, sometimes we got through, but great credit to all the players and all the players who played. Some of them have not played all the minutes this season, but when they've been asked to do so, they've done really, really well.
You seem to be getting this kind of rotation right at the moment, fighting on 3 fronts, while other teams perhaps aren't getting it right. You are. What's the secret?
No. We're learning on the job. We don't know. There is no magic formula in this game, and you get everything right. That's for sure. And on the other night, we weren't sort of looking on 3 fronts. We were looking on 1 front, was trying to get through in the League Cup. And just like when we played our game against Aston Villa on Saturday, we'll be looking on the Premier League games and getting as many points as we can. So, we can only focus on the game at the time. But obviously, with the games we got, we have to try and make sure that we use our squad and we're doing the best we can. And I have to say the players who've come in have been really, really good.
Are you getting the feeling at the moment that there is this feel-good factor? You're coming across fans and people who work in the club, with things going so well high in the league and through to the quarterfinals. There's a bit of excitement around, David.
Well, there's plenty of excitement around, but I've had the feel-good factor, I feel, for probably over 12 months. I think since ever we got rid of the feeling that there was a chance of relegation, I think we've all blossomed and we've all become much better. I think it's probably been hanging over West Ham for a couple of seasons or maybe longer. And I think we're feeling much better than that. I think we're feeling like a side who can be different, a side who can be competitive, whether it be in the league or hopefully now in the cup competitions as well.
There's also talk possibly of an investment by a Czech billionaire. Don't know if you've heard any rumours about that.
Just the same rumours that you have, and I don't know any more than you know. But it sounds as if maybe something's happening, yes.
And I guess you could say, with the stadium expansion in the works, a team in London, you can make a good case, I suppose, for West Ham to be a team to invest in. Maybe you can make that case now.
When I came in, they said the way I thought West Ham needed to go was I needed to try and make the team better and grow the team. We needed to become a better side. And, I'm sure there's people off the field who are looking at ways they can make West Ham a better football club off the field as well. But at the moment, my job is to try and get the team right. I couldn't tell you an awful lot about the other stuff. And I'll wait with sort of interest as much as you're waiting as well.
Thanks, David. Lindsay Hooper, LP, please.
Hi, David.
Hi, Lindsay.
The result against Manchester City, I think, given as well their record in the competition, going back to 2016, the last time they lost a game even, that must give an even bigger boost. Have you recognised that on the training ground this week?
Yes, I think we have, but I think the feeling is like Manchester City didn't lose the game. There was a draw in the game and we won it on penalty kicks, which means that you look at it. I think if Manchester City beat us in penalty kicks, I'd be looking at it in a positive way. Manchester City played really well on the night. They had a terrific team out, but we were able to go over the line with penalty kicks, which we're really grateful for. But I think it says more about the group of players we have and the squad of players we have, that they're all contributing, sort of demanding that they're all going to have to play with the games we have and the schedule. And I've got to say, none of them have let me down at this present time. They've all come up trumps and played very well.
Has it given you a nice conundrum with the whole trophies versus league position? Because it feels like West Ham now are in a position where they could prioritise something.
No, I don't think I'm doing any of that. All I'm doing is prioritising the next game. I think I want to win those 4 trophies you're talking about. So, what other way? I'm certainly not seeing one more important than the other. I know what is more important than the other, but I don't see as winning, that you just continue to try to do the best you can. Now, obviously, that's probably unrealistic for West Ham, but I'm certainly not saying that there's games lesser value than others, because they're all really important. But what I will say is the next game's a Premier League game against Aston Villa, and it's certainly the biggest priority.
Is your interpretation of what's more important different as a manager to what maybe a fan's is?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think sometimes, I hear a lot of people, whether it be on radio stations or saying, we'd love to win a cup, we're not so bothered about being in Europe or that. But obviously, when you're a manager and you're in this situation, doing very well in the league shows that you've been a consistent side throughout the season. When you've showed consistency, your team, your work, being a cup side, you can get really good draws and you can find your way getting through. So there is ways you can win a cup. I've always felt that being a good league team is always the first priority.
Some of the work that you have been doing has been on set pieces, which has been a really successful area for you. Paul Nevin and Kevin Nolan were credited by Aaron Cresswell for some of the work they've been doing. Now, as I understand it, you don't have a set piece coach, as it were, but just a word on the sort of work that they have been doing with the team.
Well, we don't actually do that much work, but if you're talking about delegation, yes, delegation are people who might do some jobs and do different things to save me having to do it all. But but both Kevin and Paul look at a lot of the stuff, and Paul's working with England as well, probably in a similar role as well now. So I think that Paul's done very well. But the truth is, do we spend lots and lots of times on set pieces? No, we don't.
Any team news update for us from that midweek game?
No, we seem in the main we're getting better. Vladimir Kufal got some minutes, who had been out previous. Ryan Fredericks is making progress, who's had a couple injury worries. Alex Kral has returned after isolating, so he's in a better place now. So we're pretty good at the moment. I've got to say we're in a good place. Like everybody, we've got some knocks and niggles and things behind the scenes, but hopefully we'll be fine.
Thanks, Lindsay. Emma Jones at BBC.
Afternoon, David.
Hi, Emma.
Areola came in for a lot of praise after his performance against Manchester City. I just wonder, how strong is that competition for that number one shirt in terms of, a decision you make between him and Fabianski?
Well, what we saw the other night was the reason why we brought him. We brought him because we knew that the amount of games we're going to have and the level of the games, whether it be European games or cup games or league games, we were always going to need good competition. And I think I've got two number ones, Emma. And, it keeps Lucas on his toes. And I've got somebody who's in good form and ready to play. And like everybody else, sometimes coming to a club, even though Areola's had a bit of experience with Fulham last year, a full year's experience, I still think it takes a bit of time to settle in. But I thought the other night was his best game for us, and he certainly helped us get through it in the next round.
You talk about rotating your team, and it seems as if there isn't fatigue necessarily at the moment. I'm wondering if, while you're winning matches, your players don't feel tired. Yeah,
well, it's a simple sort of psychology, isn't it? That, I think winning makes you feel much better, keeps you going, makes everything feel much better. These press conferences, everybody around the club. But, we understand that, we've got to keep it right. We have to do things right. We're not getting carried away with ourselves. But we're enjoying it. Why shouldn't we? Because we've had lots of periods at this club where we've not been in this situation or been in a positive situation. We're now there, so we want to build on it. We're going to ask the players to do more. I think that we have to play even better now, and I think there's signs there that we can do that.
One of those positives is you're unbeaten away from home in 7 matches. How pleasing is that as a stat?
It's a great stat, because it's something which I think last year the people thought that it was to do with the crowds and to do with the COVID, and in probably in many cases, Emma, it was. But I think we started the season away from home well. I also want to have a great home record, because I think the London Stadium, with 60,000 fans in it at the moment, is a great place to play your football. But we've been to some big games already away from home, and we've been able to deal with it. So let's hope we can do it again.
He seems to be under pressure, doesn't he, Dean Smith, at the moment? Are you surprised at the recent results and where Aston Villa have found themselves?
I don't see in any way how Dean Smith is under pressure after the job he's done. Where he took them from, where he got them last year, how good his team is. He's also had to sell maybe their best player and add in new players to the squad. And I think they've bought really well. I think Dean Smith has done a brilliant job at Aston Villa, and I would be amazed if your comment and what you've said is correct, Emma.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Emma. Cameras off, please. Thank you. Andy, do you want to start the embargo section for us, please? Thank you.